welcome to my I Love Learning podcast. I'm Dr. Gina Anderson, and I cannot tell you all how very much excited I have been all week to talk to Brad. Brad is going to share all the goodness about himself and what he does. But if you go to his LinkedIn, and Brad will tell us the best way to connect with him, you will know that Brad is a serial entrepreneur and he is a best-selling author, and I have his book Humankind in front of me on my Kindle here. And he's a teacher. And if you know Brad, you know that his heart is as big as gold. I just met him in 10 minutes. I feel like I've learned at least 5 takeaways. So I'm much better. I'm much better right now than I was 5 minutes ago because I have more learning and knowledge. So thank you, Brad. Thank you for joining me today. And thank you for all the joy and love that you brought through your book to me and everything that you do. So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone what you're passionate about.
All right. Well, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. Love your enthusiasm. I'm passionate about a lot of stuff. So I love writing. I'd always, as a kid, wanted to write a book. And then in college, I was always writing. And I'm happy that I have my book, Humankind, out there, hopefully making the world a better place. I also love entrepreneurship. And I teach entrepreneurship to young adults in Camden, New Jersey, and the Kensington area of Philadelphia. And it is fun. I have such a great time doing it. Everyone in the class starts their own business, or if they have a side hustle, they grow it. It's a very hands-on class, and it's created many, many adventures in entrepreneurship.
Wow, that's incredible. I love that. I can't wait to talk after the podcast sometime about your program and teaching, because being an entrepreneur myself, I know that there's a lot of hurdles of being an entrepreneur and growing a business. But like with your passions, has there been any hurdles in being a teacher or being involved in entrepreneurship or writing the book that kind of kept you from your passion?
I mean, there's been hurdles that got in the way, but it didn't keep me from it. So, I first started teaching because I was an entrepreneur. I was asked to come in and mentor this class. And I went in and I left and thought, I love this. Like, this is fun. I want to teach. I was still working full-time in my business. So I would teach 1 day a week. And I was really bad at it. So and it was where I was teaching at the time was kind of a rougher school. So I'd heard, the students are hungry, and it's young adults. So I brought in snacks on the first day. And
I love that.
I thought it was great. So I'm sitting there teaching, and like some kid runs in, grabs all the snacks, runs out of my classroom. So I run out of the class. I'm like, what's going on? And the security guard's like, hey, you're the new guy, aren't you? You need to lock your door when you're teaching so people don't run in. I was thinking, what? Okay. And then, a few classes later, I don't like having stuff in my pockets.
Oh, okay.
My phone in my bag. And my phone got stolen while I was teaching. And I thought, I am the worst teacher. And I'm embarrassed to go home and tell my wife, yeah, my phone got stolen while I was teaching today. But I knew it was right for me because I left and I thought, my students have so much energy.
Wow.
And if I could find a way to channel it, there's so much opportunity. So I want to become great at this. And I love it. So I knew it was the right thing. I did have, my hurdle was, clearly I did not know what I was doing. And what I did was I basically shadowed every other teacher I knew. So I would go watch them teach, see what they did.
Wow.
I would talk individually to students to find out what excited them and what would get them engaged. And over time, I found a way to connect. And hopefully, I think I provide value and have a good time and teach and do fun stuff that also provides all my students with an opportunity to get ahead. And I should also say, I now teach somewhere that is the opposite of the first place I was teaching. It's a great place. Our young adults are focused. We have high expectations of them. They live up to it. They're great. But when I started, it was a great starting location because I learned really how to juggle some challenges.
I really love this idea, Brad, that you mentioned. I think about it from like a learning science standpoint of like observing a lot of different people doing something and gaining that perspective and expertise from like a variety of perspectives. I mean, that's so powerful, and you can learn so much from that. Was there something specific that you learned through that observation or through your journey of learning your passion of teaching that really stuck with you? Was there like something in particular that kind of stood out to you that you felt like, wow, that was really impactful and that really helped you grow into your passion?
So I think I learned a little bit from each person I watched teach and spoke
Mm,
to. And I also did a
mhm,
lot of reading, but I felt that reading for me was more difficult, like just seeing what happened in the classroom.
mm,
And what kind of clicked was, the young people we taught were very angry and going through some really rough stuff. So
mm,
it was natural that with this anger, there'd be all this friction. And by just
mm,
sitting down and getting to know them individually,
mm,
we could connect a little bit, and it just made things work. They got a
mm,
chance to know that, I had my only motive was to help them start businesses and grow. And I learned what they were looking for, and then I could tie in my lesson to what they wanted,
mm,
and try to make it. Each student had different goals, but figure out how I could tie in what they were working on to their long-term goals and show them how it was relevant.
the one thing that you mentioned that's so impactful is that connection. Like really truly like sitting with them and understanding and listening to hear their needs. Because a lot of times I think we're so busy in everything that we're doing that we kind of miss that connection piece. So I really can appreciate that you did that. That's really awesome. What keeps you happy? Like why do you continue to do this? What keeps you happy and motivated to do this every day?
I mean, so I teach 2 days a week, so not every day.
Okay.
But I have so many alumni at this point that on
Uh-huh.
the other days, I am coaching lots of my alumni who want to talk about their businesses and brainstorm.
Uh-huh.
And what keeps me doing it is it's just so fun.
Mm.
So the young entrepreneurs I work with, they have great ideas. I am learning about so many different businesses every day. There's always new businesses that are popping
Yeah.
up, and
Mhm.
it's challenging and really rewarding when you see someone who, so the average person coming into the program where I teach now is earning about $300 a year.
Oh,
Uh, we're
wow.
a workforce development program. So you come into
Mhm.
our program, you get trained in how to code and other technical skills. We
Mm.
run 3 businesses, you get a job with us, and then we get you
Mm.
a job with a partner. And if
Mm.
you have a specific passion, let's say entrepreneurship, you can also take the entrepreneurship track, because if you're doing something you're passionate about, you're more likely to be engaged, excited, and move forward.
Oh, I love that.
So then, and I see that what I see is my students, if they're going for a job,
Mhm.
it's hard to find a job now. There's a lot of layoffs
Yes.
happening, but they have a
Yes.
differentiator. I started this
Mhm.
business. Here's the revenue. Here's what I did. So it helps them
Mhm.
get jobs. Some of them become full-time entrepreneurs. Most of
Mm.
them have this side hustle revenue stream while they've got their job and their side hustle. And seeing
Mhm.
them succeed makes me so happy. It's fun.
Ah, I love that. Your heart is so big. I love that. Yeah, the thing is like people need that encouragement. I mean, if they're coming and they're making $300 a year and they need that encouragement. So, if someone comes to your program or you hear of someone and they say, "Brad, I don't know what I'm passionate about," because you just said they come and they're like passionate and it gives them that engagement. What if they don't know what they're passionate about? Or what if they say to you, "Look, I've lost my passion. I don't I don't even know how to go forward." What advice would you give them?
So, uh, a lot of young people do lose their passion because
Mm,
life is hard and circumstances are difficult. And generally, if I know them well, we'll talk about what they're passionate about. And
mm,
it might be that they're an artist and they're passionate about art, but they have other passions as well. And we talk about what could we do that would be
mhm,
engaging, and take a small step. And often that re-engages them. What I found has been really helpful and resonates with some of the young people I mentor is volunteering. So when
Mm.
they do something that's giving back or helping a peer, it helps get them re-energized. So I'm like, if
Mm.
I'm feeling down, can't pursue my passion, but oh, my friend needs help and I go and help them, suddenly I feel good. I got purpose. I did something. I accomplished something because we all naturally want to help other people and that helps them. So I think that's another way to go. You know, you and I were also talking about gratitude and how you
Mm.
did a corporate event where you had Kevin Monroe speak about gratitude. And what also tends to energize people I've seen is, well, let's just figure out someone who's been really nice to you and let's write them a letter of gratitude. And that lets someone relive that kindness that happened to them. And often it kind of gets them, like, it makes you feel up thinking about that person who helped
Mm.
you and what they did and gives you a step forward. So it depends on the person because everyone has something different. But asking the questions to figure out, all right, well, your passion, maybe you don't follow that right now, but what else do you like? Where else can we go? How can we take that step? And sometimes it makes sense to talk to a professional. You know, if
Mm.
you're really feeling down, uh, then like, let's set you up for a therapist or someone who could talk to you and coach you. I'm really fortunate in like the place I've been teaching for the last, I don't know, many years. Uh, it's a magical place where the staff and the CEO and the leadership is so good. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
They are so good, and they've created this culture where everyone kind of works together. Uh,
Mm.
and you know, I'm there a couple days a week, but the full time staff is there. So I would often send someone like, talk to your coach, talk to these other
Mm.
people, because when you have a lot of people bolstering you up, I think it's
Mm.
helpful. Also, it's important, I think, to remind people that we should be kind to ourselves. So when we're not hitting our goals, when I say, oh, I want to be an author, but I haven't written in a week, I might be really harsh
Mm.
on myself. And sometimes if we remind that person, what would you tell a friend who's in the same situation? They come up with something much gentler and kinder than they are telling themselves. And that could be really helpful in getting to the next level.
Yeah, being kind to ourselves. We don't do that very often, do we? We're not very kind and give ourselves a break. So important. It's so important. And the idea of like learner to learner to learner, this idea of connecting with other people really help. I mean, learning scientists, neuroscientists, looking at hyperscanning and at, activity and synapses between three brains, between two brains, between four brains, and the energy and the activity and the blood flow that happens. It's not by chance that you feel better. I mean, there's chemical reactions that are happening in your brain that release those neurotransmitters that actually make you feel better. And so I always say, people have asked me this week, how I'm dealing with grief. And for me, going out and donating food to the food bank, doing good things, going out and helping other people is the best medicine that you can give yourself. It is the best medicine. And it not only makes you feel better, but it makes others feel better. And that's how we stay connected and grounded. And, it's okay to be kind to yourself and say it's okay to be sad. It's okay not to have a passion right now, right, Brad? But to rediscover it, it's so impactful and so powerful. One thing I think about a lot is winning and like what winning means. And so, what does winning mean to you? Like, if someone asked you, what is winning? What would you say?
So winning to me is being a good family member, being a good friend,
Mm.
uh, being a good coach and supporter. So being a contributor in all those areas is winning.
Mm.
Uh, and feeling like I have purpose and what I'm doing is being helpful is winning.
Mm. That's perfect. I know
Thanks.
Brad offered to me even before we came on to help me with my upcoming book. So and he didn't want anything. It's just helping people. It's beautiful, and I think that all of us have the opportunity to reflect on what makes us happy and what winning means to us. And last week I had on my show Naomi Burries, and she's out in the Mediterranean Sea. And this season, I'm doing something a little bit different, Brad. I'm like having a guest. Like today, you'll ask a question to my guest that's coming on next week. And I asked her to review your profile and to come up with a question for you. And this is what Naomi wanted to learn from you, Brad. She wanted to know what drives your passion for helping others. And it's so funny because that's what we're talking about. That's what winning means to you.
I mean, I think what drives my passion is it started at a young age. So when I was in junior high, my
Mm.
mom told my brother and I, "You guys have it so lucky. You need to do something to be helpful to the world." And
Oh.
I signed up through this program called Buddies, where I
Mm.
would go and just play with kids in our community who had had some really difficult things happen in their family. So a deceased parent or something else that was really difficult. And I would just play with them. We'd play basketball, tag, all sorts of stuff. And it was the first time I really started thinking about how you can just be unlucky. Like these were
Mm.
kids, they had done nothing wrong and they were facing this tragedy and they were unlucky. And
Mm.
that made me think, gosh, I am so lucky for no reason, right? I got lucky. And then I thought, I really need to help other people because not everyone has that gift. And that kind of drove me. And then, like you were saying, once you start helping, you realize, I love this. This is
Mm.
something I want to keep doing. And what I see a lot now is I call some people lose the zip code lottery, right? You're born in a
Mm.
certain zip code. The schools might not be helpful for you. There might not be a
Mm.
lot of role models. There might be less opportunity. And I was born in a zip code there where I won the lottery, but I
Mm.
have a chance to help and do more.
Mm. I love that. And I think if you are born in a zip code where you don't have a lot, it's something to realize that you have the power within with the support like organizations like the teaching organizations like Brad's involved in to make a better life for yourself and to do something that you are passionate about. If you have the drive and you have the desire to do it, there's help out there to help you get there. It's so important.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
important.
what you said is totally correct. And I look at my students, they don't succeed because of me. They have
Mm.
all the potential. They just need someone to say, "You can do it. I see it in you." Like they're brilliant, they're smart, they're entrepreneurial, and they need someone who's going to cheer them on.
Yes, we all need cheerleaders. We all need a mascot, right? That's
Yes.
exactly right. We all need that person that's gonna help us win and help us get there in the mindset. I love that so much. Next week, well, actually, it's gonna be on Monday because next week is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a week we had, that some people struggle with, whether it's family, like you said, they don't have the opportunity to celebrate like other families. They're feeling down, they're missing loved ones. And next week I'm having Connie Miller on my show. And Connie Miller, she really focuses on working with parents and thinking about ways of expressing gratitude with children and with families and understanding the stress that families go through during all times. But not I'm having her next week because of the stress of the holidays and the pressures that parents face around the holidays and the children feel. There's just so many feelings, not always positive around this time of year. And I think it's important for us to realize that and to stay grounded in people around us on our teams and in our classrooms and in our families that we all need different support. So Brad, what question do you want me to ask Connie Miller on Monday? Do you have a good question for her?
Oh, I could ask her a lot of questions. So I guess I would love to hear the best ways she's seen for families to really connect over the
Mm.
holidays. What are some of the best ways that families connect and engage, especially given how the holidays often there's so much excess, right? So how do
Mm.
you cut through that and engage? I would love to hear her thoughts on that.
That's a great question. I was just thinking of how I would answer that, and I remember one holiday, and we didn't have much growing up, and we couldn't afford gifts and things for each other, so we did photos. We just collected photos from the year and we gave it to each other, my mom, my brother, and I think about that because of all the Christmases throughout my life, I mean, that's probably the most memorable. And you think about it, this isn't about spending a ton of money. It's about showing love, and I think that's the beauty of it, and I can't wait to hear what she says too. So, Brad, leave us today. Give us some final thoughts. Leave us this week before Thanksgiving with some things to think about, and tell everyone where they can find you and get more information about your teaching and your entrepreneurship and your book.
So I guess I would say all of us have the power to change the world. So we might ingest the news and think, oh my goodness, there's so much animosity in our country. There's so much poverty. Like, there's just no way I could do anything. But if every day we wake up and say, we're going to change someone's world today, we can do it,
Mm,
right? Sending that note to say, hey, I'm thinking of you. How you doing? Writing a letter about why we appreciate someone that they'll hold on to forever. Uh,
mm,
it's those little actions that make a difference. And in writing my book, I saw that it's these small actions that have a ripple effect and can wind up unwittingly change thousands and thousands of lives. So I would say that is great for us to keep in mind. Like, if we make that our mission every day to make someone's life better, we're going to feel good. The world will be a better place. If you want to connect with me, like, LinkedIn is a great place. Brad Aronson, or you can go, I have a website, bradaronson.com. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook, and I love connecting with people and talking about these topics.
awesome. Well, Brad, thank you so much. I'm not even on your Instagram, so I'm gonna have to connect with you. I look forward to that. And thank you for your beautiful book, and also your teaching and what you do for all those that need it in entrepreneurship, training the next generations. It's so important. We need innovators, and like you said, anyone, any day can